Hello, everyone, and welcome back to High School Star League's Grand Finals! We are about to begin our second set of matches in the Hearthstone Semifinals. The winner of these games will move on to face Frankie on Wednesday in the Grand Finals. So without further ado, let's go ahead and meet our players. And coming to you all the way from Ontario, Canada, he's a senior at St. Robert's Catholic High School and the king of Ramp Druid himself, AnonBeta! How you feeling today?
Pretty good.
Awesome. All right, next up, he's a senior at South Eugene High School in Oregon, and when he's not wrecking in Hearthstone, he's destroying his opponents on his Mock Child team. Let's hear it for JustGolden! How you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic.
Awesome. Well, you guys can go ahead, shake hands, say hello. And then we're going to go ahead and kick it off to the casters, Bert and Joey, before we set up these games.
Again, thanks for that intro, and we are back into the second semifinal. I mean, first semifinal, I had the best of the best. The two legendary players working out. I mean, what a tough way to go, but what do you think about that? What did you think about that match?
That match was, it's full of intense action. Just really, really tough draws, I think, for Killing All Day. Although, I think, what was the other opponent's name again?
Frankie.
Frankie, yeah. Frankie was able to handle these situations very well, and he made really good reads and knew when to go on the offensive and clear board and stuff like that. That was just really demonstrative of his legendary skill level.
Definitely, indeed. And we are about to start this up. Again, if you guys don't know about the HS Star League, definitely check out the tournament page 2015.hsstarleague.com. It can help you out, show you where we're going to go with the next matches. You know, there's StarCraft 2, there's League of Legends coming up, as well as more Hearthstone action for Tuesday and Wednesday. This is the final match we're going to have today. Again, it is AnonBeta versus JustGolden. Really quickly, AnonBeta picked up Druid, Warlock, and Warrior. Casting up that Paladin. On the other hand, Druid, Mage, Shaman going to be picked up for JustGolden.
Yeah, so it's just going to be interesting. Not sure about the rationale between the bans or behind the bans on both players, but Warrior is always fearsome, right? No one wants to go up against Grim Patron at all and would like to remove that from anyone's lineup. JustGolden, however, did not decide to remove AnonBeta's Warrior and decided to ban Pally instead. So Pally can be pretty strong against Mage and Shaman, and so that might be the rationale behind JustGolden's ban choice there, so to speak. So
definitely. I mean, the Paladin, if you guys want to know a little secret, maybe like a holy ref getting there for 20 damage for Paladin. So that would be some surprising action, I would think. Yeah,
so I guess we need to see what kind of build he decides to use in the meantime, but should be plenty of action nonetheless. I mean, it's a match between Canada's AnonBeta and the US's JustGolden, so there's a battle for some North American pride going down.
You're saying US versus Canada. It's not EU versus NA though, so you know, it's not that same level. We'll see what we're going to happen. As we do seem to possibly get in the game, we're still having some technical difficulties, so we'll get that in just a second. Again, AnonBeta, legend, JustGolden, got rank 14, rank 10, I think, even then. He's actually pretty good to get this far, top 4.
Top 4, yeah. So, I mean, to get to the stage in any tournament is definitely a big achievement, and it looks like there's some spectator issues, but we see that AnonBeta is going to open up with his Druid, JustGolden. We're not quite sure what he's running at the moment, but AnonBeta decided to looks like keep that Druid Claw and Shade of Naxxramas, or is that what he got from his mulligan?
We'll see as the double Druids are about to start up.
Oh, it's going to be a Druid Mirror.
It is the Druid Mirror. JustGolden on that bottom side, AnonBeta on that top side. So we'll see what'll happen. Again, sorry for the technical difficulties. Again, we're working with it, and we're going to rework it into the first game. It looks pretty similar for both decks.
Yeah, so probably both going to be double combo. We see a Shade of Naxxramas in AnonBeta's hand, which is indicative that at least one copy of the combo should exist. We already see a Force of Nature in JustGolden's hand, and he has that Innervate, which is certainly going to go ahead and start the action really fast. But a Wild Growth top decked on 2 is very indicative of what Twitch chat likes to refer to as a skilled druid. So
Skilled Druid? Yeah, top deck that onto, and he's going to go ramp up right indeed. He's going to have the Pilot Shredder coming up, so that's going to be pretty solid for AnonBeta for this one.
right. JustGolden has the option to innervate coin into Azure Drake right now, or he could just go ahead and coin into the. You just coin into the Shaded Naxxramas and then innervate into the Azure Drake. That might curve out a little bit better, but both of them are not bad curve options. Azure Drake cycles a card. It's not the most imposing minion on the board, but it looks like he's going to go with the Azure Drake anyway. But then cycle that card. He can still play Shade. But yeah, there goes the Shade. So now he's going to have an empty turn 4, which is going to be a little bit problematic for JustGolden. Piloted Shredder going to be plopped out instead of trying to get that value Shade of Naxxramas here.
Look at that curve coming out from AnonBeta. He does have a lot to go off with. Devil Druid Claw. Can we add it in with the Keeper of the Grove if there's any shenanigans with Paladin Shredder or something? It's looking pretty good for AnonBeta. JustGolden using up a lot of mana for this Azure Drake to develop it. We'll see what he's going to do. Get some more damage into the face and develop a Shade of Naxxramas to boot. So, what do you think about both states? Is it still pretty good for AnonBeta, or
I think it's going to be better for AnonBeta eventually because he's just going to develop higher quality minions for the time being, right? I mean, he's going to be able to develop this the Death Rattle from the Piloted Shredder, and he's going to get a 4/6, right? The Shade's not going to be able to immediately contest any of this stuff. And an empty turn 4 for JustGolden is really going to hurt unless he top decks a Piloted Shredder here, and he's not going to. So this might just be that kind of tempo loss that loses a game for a Druid player. Because AnonBeta is always going to have a play every turn. He's going to play another Druid of the Claw, which can't be dealt with. There's usually no Black Knights in Druids nowadays, just because it's not really that great a card. So if there's going to be any comeback potential, it's going to be difficult. These two big game hunters are pretty dead. You're not going to see more than Dr. Boom usually in a Druid deck. So JustGolden in an extremely tough position. He will just play Big Game Hunter as a vanilla 4/2.
Vanilla 4/2, and there's already a Shriekmeister to combo that down. So it'll be either a trade or, wow, the pieces of the combo are set. Exodia is here, possibly for AnonBeta. He could actually draw under Innovate and actually activate that, but see some pullback. Keeper of the Grove coming out to take out the 4/2 and put some pressure onto the face. JustGolden going down to 22 health.
Yeah, JustGolden at 22 right now. There's 9 damage on the board for AnonBeta, which cannot be removed all that easily right now. So +8 from Savage Roar. I mean, only 5 damage off lethal for AnonBeta. He's definitely looking very good. A Druid of the Claw is going to be played, but it'll be dealt with relatively easily. Not quite sure what AnonBeta will decide to use to eliminate this Druid of the Claw. He may just use part of his Druid of the Claw into 2/4. He may just use his hero power, but I think he wants to develop his other Druid of the Claw as well. JustGolden, oh yeah, so JustGolden goes with the Druid of the Claw. AnonBeta drawing a Big Game Hunter, which certainly will bode well when JustGolden inevitably plays his Dr. Boom, if the game even lasts that long. I think AnonBeta, what he wants to do is just Druid of the Claw, maybe trade a 3/2 and a 2/4 and 4 damage from his face, or 3 damage effectively after he hero powers to kill this 4/6, and he gets 2 4/6s on the board. That's not all that bad. But sometimes even more minions is better as a Druid player just because it boosts Savage Roar. He's going to actually go with a Savage Roar now to get a really clean shot on this.
Easier shot, easier clear going to be into play, and a lot of damage going on to the board.
Yeah, and he can even plant down a Shaded Naxxramas, so the real only comeback potential from a Druid could potentially be a mind control tech, but this is a very, very preemptive, aggressive play from AnonBeta, and it actually proves to be really smart. It's really difficult to clear boards as an opposing Druid, right? Like boards like these, unless you're running Starfall or something like that, or Spell Power Swipe.
Poison Seeds?
Yes, something like that, which you usually see from Mill Druid. Another thing that AnonBeta could potentially be fearing is like a Blood Mage down Swipe, for example. So, but Swipe, as it stands right now, doesn't really do all that much, so JustGolden just really, really pressed. I guess Force of Nature can help clearing some of this board.
Get enough clear. He's probably going to have to unsheath the unstuff the 5/5 as well. So that could be a possibility. We'll see if that actually is a real play. It is going to be a play. Everything's cleared out, and we already saw the Savage Roar grid down. Very, very, very unlucky if another Savage Roar came up, but it's actually a Keeper of the Grove. It's just going to devastate this board right now.
Only 1 damage off lethal is AnonBeta. He's got 9 damage from from Force of Nature, and he could even Hero Power this turn, but it's not going to be enough. I wonder if he wants to use his Druid Claw to push for damage. He may just want to do it with the Force of Nature anyway, because an Ancient of Lore is probably the best play he can come up with, and that's only going to heal him up to 6. He can still Druid Claw and Keeper in that case, so unless he fears Healbot, Force of Nature might be the way to go, because even if a big taunt is put up in the way, he can even just Keeper the Grove and finish him off.
True. Druid Claw gonna be forced in, and it's gonna hit to the face. It is gonna be one trying time for JustGolden. He is on his last breath for his first game. Didn't even unstealth the 3-3 as well.
Yeah, he didn't, so still pretty hard, and it doesn't look like JustGolden has anything to stop this. He doesn't have a taunt to put up. You already saw a Druid Claw. There's only really Sludge Belcher left and maybe Ancient of War. He even is keeping the Keeper of the Grove, so JustGolden going and giving the well-played signal, which is sort of like basically conceding, right? It's a well-mannered way of conceding a game.
The gentlemen of the semifinals, right? AnonBeta and JustGolden. Some well played, no well mets or other shenanigans, but we do see the Keeper of the Grove going to be clearing that one out, and Shapeshift.
Going with the exact lethal. Could have used Force of Nature for a little bit of overkill, but decided not to do it. And JustGolden trying to give himself some slight psychological edge by threatening before he goes down.
Definitely, and unfortunately for JustGolden to be down 1 game in this best of 5 series. Again, we are doing the Conquest format. It's looking like AnonBeta is going to have the Warlock Warrior next for himself. Druid Mage Shaman still up for JustGolden. What do you think should be the next choice for JustGolden?
Well, if AnonBeta only has Warlock and Warrior available, then he can feel pretty confident in Mage being able to dispatch of either of them. So he might want to switch to Mage. Druid also does pretty well against Control Warrior, so he might even want to stick with Druid. If the Warlock is a Zoo from AnonBeta, then Druid is not that great a choice. But however, if it's a handlock double combo, Druid is one of the better choices to pick against a Warlock, and he definitely just wants to steal a win, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And again, JustGolden playing that Druid, it's a little interesting. There's some very, very techy cards in there, so we'll see how it will work out.
Double Big Game Hunter is certainly one of those cards, and we do see one of those Big Game Hunters drawn. And I heard Garrosh's name, so it looks like AnonBeta is going with the Warrior. Is it going to be Grim Patron? Most likely, but we could definitely see Control Warrior. If he is Control Warrior, he's going to be very disappointed to see Malfurion across from the stage again. But typically in Conquest, most players will decide to queue in with the same deck they lost with in the game prior.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. We saw that in the last semifinal of the 9-4 Priest that we were coining that, I guess, right?
Right.
Yeah, it was used in the second game. It almost lost and kind of still got into that win, so it's very, very scary for him. So yeah, JustGolden is going to have some interesting cards. He does have a Sludge Belcher, Emperor Thorson, Paladin Shredder, Innervate Coin, and a Keeper of the Grove. We'll see how he kind of works it out. AnonBeta, he's just, shielding up, going to get some armor in. And he has a lot of cards, possibly, for Control Warrior.
Yeah, we do see Control Warrior, it seems like, from AnonBeta. And he's going to go ahead and coin into this Shaded Axaramis, preferring to keep that Innervate for potentially, it seems like that Emperor Thorsan play maybe. It's going to be another couple of turns before he's able to do it though. And Acolyte of Pain played from, a second Innervate is drawn.
Definitely, as the Innervate going to be drawn out.
Is he
using that for that Sludge Belcher or even Emperor Thorsan? Nah, Sludge Belcher.
He's going to go the Sludge Belcher and to Innervate another Emperor.
Definitely, and we do see if it is going to be unstealth, possibly in the meter play, but he is going to unstealth it to take out the Acolyte of Pain.
It's very difficult to remove Shaded Axaramis now that the Sludge Belcher is up, but he can use an Execute, but he can't do it by weapon, so that's why I think that's the decision making behind JustGolden's decision, or that's the rationale behind JustGolden's decision. He does have an Owl and a Shield Slam. He has multiple ways of removing the Shade if he doesn't want it to grow anymore. Could use that Execute, could use that Shield Slam if he wants. But he can't do much else with the turn other than armor up. And AnonBeta, usually as a Control Warrior, you don't have really good early game minions, so you're going to be seeing a lot of armoring up at the beginning, other than maybe Armor Smith and stuff.
Value Emperor Thorson coming out on turn 4. Put some pressure onto this warrior, although only 3 cards, not really too much pressure.
Right. It may be a priority to remove that, and it looks like AnonBeta will. He's going to go ahead and Cruel Task and execute it. And not doing much else. Is he going to spend the silence, or is he just going to armor up? The 1-2 isn't all that crazy. The real problem with the Death Rattle from Sludge Belcher is the fact that they can hide other minions behind it, and it's very difficult to get to them. The Druid of the Claw drawn just on curve. This is a really good, well-timed Druid of the Claw. Although Piloted Shredder armor up or Hero Power would not have been as bad either, but Druid of the Claw much better. We've already seen a Shield Slam and an Execute, so a Druid of the Claw in 4-6 is really difficult to deal with. He may decide to charge it anyway because Death Spike can't even get to it, so just go ahead and put more pressure on.
Sludge Belcher has brought in some work, has been staying on the board, although there hasn't been any damage onto the warrior just yet, so we'll see actually how it goes. Cat form not chosen in, goes still hold it up in top form. So we have some bears, we have some I don't even know. Is that an abomination or something?
Yeah, it looks like some sort of abomination or sludge or something like that. Looks kind of like coughing from Pokemon, I think.
Coughing? So
yeah, or muck or something like that, you know?
Yeah, I could see that. I could see like a ghastly too, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if those spooky ghosts will actually come into play. Shield Maiden on the other side, going to be able to armor up.
Shield Maiden giving him some life and giving him an imposing body on the board to compete with these minions, which I think is a little bit more important. He can still remove this if he wants with the 4-6 and using his hero power, but I don't even know if he needs to necessarily. I guess the only problem with not doing it is that he can go ahead and kill the Sludge Belcher, and then your hero power is not going to be as effective on the 5-5 anymore, but we do see that Savage Roar in hand now, so aggressively going phase could be something to go ahead and set up that lethal damage later. It looks like he wants to bring out that Keeper anyway. Keeper is good against Sylvanas most of all, but it looks like he's going to go ahead and make that trade. So JustGolden being very conservative with his attacks and not taking his rightful position as the aggressor, I think. But, you know, it could be good, too, not to allow your opponent to have a good, or have options to trade. And here comes a Brawl, which is really strong for AnonBeta.
Gets the Piloted Shredder. Ooh.
Yeah, the Piloted Shredder is probably... I mean, it's a
average,
good minion that survives, yeah, but you'd rather have the Death Rattle and another minion, I think, because now this weapon is just extremely effective. There's no minion in the hand of JustGolden, so suffering this tempo loss, if he doesn't get like an Ancient of Lore next turn, it's going to be really tough. Azure Drake is a very suitable alternative, though.
You'll be able to curve out, can't do a hero power. Ooh,
yeah, there's a Wrath. I mean, he'd love to cycle that, but he'd love to not to cycle it on his own minion, I don't think. And he has, I mean, he doesn't really have any mana right now, so he can always draw next turn.
Right.
If he draws Dr. Boom, that would be really good. But even then, if he doesn't draw Dr. Boom, he could Wrath the next minion, and then potentially draw into a 6-drop, which could be potentially as strong, or another 5-drop or something.
So all I'm hearing right now, Joey, we're looking for the top decks, the top Rex for this Druid. It feels a little grim for JustGolden on this one.
I think the Druid is going to struggle a little bit, but if he can find that Force of Nature, he can do okay. He's lost his Keeper of the Grove, which means he's essentially losing his board. That's going to be a little bit troublesome for him. It's going to slow down the Druid's game plan, and he may struggle to get enough pressure across. And that's one of the issues with not putting pressure on Garrosh's face early. If you know that the minions need to trade with you, so it's really good to attack the face early so that you can set up a potential Force of Nature Savage Roar, and even if you don't have it, you force your opponent into very awkward plays in order to avoid playing around a combo that you can have.
The combo, indeed. It's not the Grim Patron one that we saw win in the last semifinals, per se, but we'll see if the Piloted Shredder will actually go down. There's a possibility you could trade in Sylvanas instead with the 2 minions.
Yeah,
but it looks like it's going to be just straight up. He needs to get the damage, and he's going to try to get it quick.
Yeah, and the problem with the Sylvanas is it's the minion you can't actually cycle a Wrath off of, right? Because now you allow it to kill itself and steal a minion of yours, so it's just really tough. He still has 10 damage on the board, though, Savage Roar being another 8. So it's very scary now for AnonBeta. If he doesn't have a way to induce damage onto his own Sylvanas, he's going to have a hard time removing this board. He did just draw a Shield Maiden, however, which can really help him remove at least 2 of these minions. He can go ahead and Shield Maiden armor up, take out the Azure Drake. He can use his weapon to take out the 2-3 and continue to put pressure on the Druid if he wanted to. He can feel pretty safe from combo for now. He also has that Alexstrasza if he wants to use that aggressively, although I imagine AnonBeta is thinking about the combo at this point, knowing that turn 9 is coming up for JustGolden. And we don't actually see Force of Nature in AnonBeta's hand, or JustGolden's hand, but you never know, like, who was it that top decked it? Was it Killing All Day that top decked the Force of Nature on turn 9?
Yeah.
In the last series, yeah.
Yeah, there's a possibility that Force of Nature could be a devastating blow. So you're going to see Shield Maiden come down. Going to protect the health for now. But the hero play definitely would have been my Alex Straza. I mean, that's 15 damage.
Yeah, AnonBeta actually going for the big steal right here. Going to go ahead and remove all the minions and removing everything that JustGolden has. So JustGolden in a very tough spot now. No minions. The combo doesn't do all that much. Harrison Jones is here, but Harrison Jones is not going to remove a weapon. I think he's going to go ahead and cycle this Wrath right now.
Cycle a Wrath would be good. You need to get cards for the Druid player to try to come back into this one. Harrison Jones, another tech card that we saw worked out somewhat well for this matchup. Unfortunately, no weapon draws.
Pretty much the best draw that JustGolden can have. He's drawing basically 3 cards with the Wrath. Obviously, this 5-5 is probably not going to stand. But now at least he gets to put some stuff onto the board. Although I do think the Warrior is still in a very favored position. And now here's Dr. Boom. We do know that JustGolden runs 2 BGHs, but he doesn't have either of them in his hand right now. Dr. Boom could be very good. He removes the 5-5. He's at 27 health. He goes back up to 29 by armoring up. So he's well above combo range right now. And he can deal with any minions, really, that JustGolden will put on the board, even if he plays Dr. Boom. Even if he gets Dr. Boom and BGH, which would probably be the best draw that JustGolden will get. There's that Force of Nature. It's here, but 29 life is 16 short right now for JustGolden, and there's a lot of pressure now. Alex Straza can do a lot of work for AnonBeta. Is, 11, 12, 13? So yeah, he would be 2 damage off lethal right now. And if
he hasn't drawn in any weapons too, so that is very devastating. Right now the card counts, AnonBeta 16, 12 cards left for JustGolden. Can he draw one more from this Wild Growth? Excess of mana, draw. Dr. Boom probably still going to come down. There is another Savage Roar. Unfortunately, for the Druid player, does not have any more Innervate to use that earlier in the game. So JustGolden's going to have to cycle through what he's want to do.
Yeah.
I would probably still clear out the 1/1/1s with your hero power, right?
I think so, yeah. I mean, it definitely helps your board stay a little bit more resilient.
Right.
So I don't think you should feel the pressure from their board as much as you should try to think about killing them, I think, is the plan of the Druid, especially against Warrior. And yeah, so there's Dr. Boom's going to be dropped here, and he looks like he's just going to aggressively push face. There's no Savage Roar in the Warrior arsenal, so to speak, so the 1/1s aren't going to do all that much anyway. Here's a Whirlwind, though. He can remove all these Boombots fairly easily, even though he has the Boombots of his own. I wonder if he decides to use it. Maybe he decides to keep it. He should fear combo a little bit, or respect it a little bit, but by killing the 7/7, which he certainly can do, right? He can use the 4/3 to kill the 7/7, and hopefully the other 2 Boombots, although... Well, yeah, he can actually use one of the Boombots to kill the 7/7, and the other one is subject to potentially getting killed by one of the other Boombots when his Boombots die, but...
We'll see about that.
We're not quite sure what it is he's going to choose. He's still deciding what it is he wants to do at the moment. I mean, the Warrior's goal right now is to basically keep his board state to a minimum, and it looks like he is going to go ahead and probably push the rest face and use the 7/7 to clear the 7/7, I would think. No, he's actually not going to kill the 7/7.
He's going to go lucky with this one. Whirlwind.
Okay.
Is it going to be enough too?
No.
Oh, not enough
roulette.
coming out for AnonBeta. 1 damage off lethal.
Putting him down to 1. There's 14 damage plus 9, which is 23. 5 damage off lethal. Had he one of the innervates, he would have lethal for sure, but AnonBeta probably very aware that both innervates have been used, and so he can't innervate into a second roar, so to speak.
Right.
He knows that he's at 28, he's pretty safe, so this was actually a very fine play as well.
Yeah, just going for the lethal now instead of just waiting out later.
Yeah.
Although, it is a little bit aggressive from AnonBeta. We'll see if this progression will work out. I mean, it looks pretty good. Swipe can be used, but we'll see how it really works out.
Not quite sure how he plans on removing this board. He could use his Force of Nature, I guess, to clear the 8/6, and then use his face to clear the 2/1. He knows that the Warrior player needs to either have Grom or a weapon to do so, and we don't see any of these in AnonBeta's hands, so a very extremely defensive play, but he's still pretty safe. He'll always be able to put pressure down. Cruel Taskmaster is not going to be enough. But still slam down that Harrison. He knows his opponent can't put out any forward pressure, so it's just really a matter of time as far as AnonBeta is concerned.
Harrison Jones is going to be coming out, and an armor up coming out for AnonBeta.
Yeah, so
there's going to be a trade out probably coming in for the start of the boom. Sylvanas going to be riding in for JustGolden. He's still living on a prayer, literally.
He is.
He's going to armor up. He's going to get some things down, but I don't know if he has enough.
A Grom or a weapon top deck at this point will be enough for the Warrior player to win. He's got 8 damage on the board right now. Force of Nature might do a little bit more, and the Death Bite is going to be it. AnonBeta going to take a 2-0 lead over JustGolden, only 1 game away from advancing to the finals and facing off against Frankie.
JustGolden devastated through the top deck. But, you know, there wasn't that many weapons that were drawn out, so it didn't really feel like it was going to be anyway that JustGolden was actually going to win out. But there were some times, there's some opportunities that JustGolden almost had.
Right, yeah, and he could have been in a slightly better position. I think had he been aggressive earlier to put him in those, you know, in those life totals that make your opponent make awkward plays. Even if you don't have the pieces at the time, you can still make them fear the combo and just make them respect it, right?
Make them respect it indeed. And we're about to get in the last matchup possibly for AnonBeta as he's looking in with his Warlock deck. Druid, Mage, Shaman. There's the low ones. We'll see how it works out.
JustGolden switching to his Shaman, and it looks like it's going to be a Mech Shaman. Mech Shaman typically very strong against Handlock. I'm not so sure how it fares against Zoo necessarily, but it looks like AnonBeta is playing Handlock anyway, going to keep some of those early board controllers, Hellfire and Dark Bomb. He even keeps the Twilight Drake.
Interesting to see that JustGolden keeping all those cards. I remember watching a, I think it was Firebat versus Stansifa, where Firebat won on turn 3 with a Whirling Zapamatic and literally 30 damage. It was like the luckiest draws ever. Hopefully with that, we're going to see that here for JustGolden, but he's going to have a pretty good tempo play just to get some damage down.
Double Rock Biter, yeah. So now we see AnonBeta, he's got that Dark Bomb in hand. You don't typically like using it on Cogmaster, but you know that that Cogmaster will do a lot of damage later. He may just decide to wait anyway and just tap, and hopefully... Oh, it looks like he'll go with the Ancient Watcher instead. So he doesn't have a Silence in hand right now, but should he draw like a Sun Fury or something, it can definitely help stop the bleeding. There's that Whirling Zapamatic.
Ooh, develops the power base instead? I mean, there's a lot of ways to get out this Whirling Zapamatic. You might see some move being used that early. Yeah, can he protect this? That's going to be the question.
I suppose the rationale from JustGolden is that he can develop the Whirling Zapamatic next turn and then try to see where that +2/+2 Death Rattle buff from the Power Mace lands. If it lands on the Whirling Zapamatic, it's suddenly out of Dark Storm range, and it would require AnonBeta to have like a Mortal Coil or something else in order to eliminate it. So, but he cannot guarantee where it would land because the Whirling Zapamatic, because there's an Enoyatron on board, right? That could also be the recipient of the +2/+2.
I mean, it's decent that both could happen. I mean, Enoyatron being at a 3/4 is still pretty annoying.
Yeah.
So it's not that bad, but you would want on the Whirling Zapamatic. Is RGesus going to be coming into play? That is the question that JustGolden is going to have to answer today. And he's still hovering over it. He could go for a Spider Tank.
Go for the Spider Tank, make it a potential 5/6 if he wanted to. Looks like he wants to go with the big Whirling Zapamatic. Now, I guess the question is for JustGolden, does he want to trade into this 4/6? No, he's going to Year Power first. Does he want to trade into this 4/6 using the Cogmaster to finish it off so that he can keep his Enoyatron on the board? Does he want to continue to get aggressive? It looks like he does, but we do see a Molten Giant in the hand of... oh, and it's going to go on the Enoyatron, so he saves that attack. There is a Molten Giant, but no Taunt Giver yet. So this Molten Giant's not going to do much from a defensive standpoint. There's an Acidic Swamp Boost from AnonBeta, which can do a lot of work on the Doomhammer, but that's not really the concern. And he's actually able to remove this board with Hellfire, and this is one of the dangers. There's that Molten Giant being played for free. There is a Doomhammer, but... Oh, there's a Crackle too!
Oh, this could be devastating. Doomhammer has potential, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, we do see our AnonBeta's had some answers, possibly, maybe. So we'll see how it will go out. Again, Sludge Belcher is another thing that is in the hand of AnonBeta.
Oh, he's going to go for the big Crackle. He's got the Spell Power. Does he get the 4 to 7 damage? He only needs to get 5, which he has a 50% chance of getting. Will the Rock Biter be enough? And it's 7! RNG.
RNG just
Smiles
coming in
upon
today.
JustGolden,
Thank
pulling
you.
it back into the series, 1-2. Wow.
Is that esports for it?
Esports.
I think that is a little bit of esports for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
That was an impressive finish. He went for the finish right there. He didn't want a big taunt being put up in the way. That's why he didn't want to play Doomhammer. He got the spell power totem, giving himself more than giving him a 50% chance of getting at least a 5, and he did get it. More than a 5. He got
More
the
than
7.
five.
He got a 7.
He was like 100% ready. You know, in the last math.
Yeah.
1 equals 2. 50% of the time, you're going to win 100% of the time.
Absolutely,
so,
yeah.
There you go. Definitely. As we do go into the final matchup, possibly still. We still need JustGolden to win out 2 more. Druid has been a little bit of slowness. Mage is going to be the next thing, possibly for JustGolden, against the Control Warlock, the Handlock.
Yeah, JustGolden deciding to go with, appears to be a Mech Mage, and AnonBeta locked into his Handlock. So Mech Mage can do a lot of work. Mirror entities are slightly problematic, but with Ancient Watchers, you can disarm those mirror entities quite easily.
Yeah, we'll see how it will work out. Double Cogmaster is looking to be saved up.
Got that double Cogmaster. JustGolden has the Clockwork Gnome and the double Cogmaster in his hand right now, so pretty good. Looks like he'll maybe Cogmaster coin Clockwork Gnome quite possibly. Now there's a Mad Scientist, which is probably going to draw out some mirror entities for him eventually.
Possibly, right. Double Cogmaster, you're going to be top in. We'll see how it played out there.
All right, yeah, double Cogmaster is very strong because it definitely does. It definitely helps the Clockwork Gnome, right? It's basically like putting 2 Flame Imps out onto the board. The Clockwork Gnome is one of the weakest mechs, however. Doesn't do all that much and can be easily killed by Mortal Coil. So it looks like a Dark Bomb is going to be played onto this Cogmaster. It's very scary if a Mech Warper comes out, but there's no Mech Warper. There is an Annoyatron though, and that's going to go ahead and make this Cogmaster essentially a Flame Imp, dealing 3 damage a turn and very hard to get to. Ancient Watcher going to be played here on turn 3, just wanting to play minions, want to get ready for a Shadow Flame potentially, which is certainly an option for AnonBeta. He's got that. Or going to JustGolden, he drew the second Mad Scientist, wanted to get those mirror entities going sooner rather than later. And he did just see that Ancient Watcher, which means that's not going to be eligible to proc mirror entities, which are essentially useless for the Mech Mage because they can't actually attack it.
The 4/5 body that can attack. I feel that's kind of useful, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
right.
really.
There's no silences in Mech Mage necessarily.
We'll see what JustGolden wants to keep on going with. He does have a lot of blood pressure. He did run into a possible clear next turn or last turn if he did kind of develop the Clockwork Gnome as well. So pretty good to stay safe, but I feel like you need to put a lot of pressure down, especially you just went all aggressive into the face.
Right.
It looks like everything else will have to go down as well.
Yeah, so this is a really good position for AnonBeta. He does have that Shadow Flame in hand, and he can easily poke off this 1-2. So the more JustGolden extends into the board, it's going to be very, very troublesome. And it may be in his best interest not to play anything. It looks like he's actually going to Frostbolt this 4/5. This is going to save his Clockwork Gnome right now. And is he going to play the Snow Chucker or not? Looks like he's just going to go for the double ping play. This is really strong not to extend into AoE.
Amazing thought. I mean, Mad Scientist could have been double the villa, but again, Mad Scientist is already on board. Usually, Mech Mage only have 1 secret.
Right. It's usually a mirror entity, so
yeah.
you don't want to give up both of your secret diggers, so to speak, right? One of them's probably just not going to dig out a secret at all. But now, AnonBeta can just play a heal bot. There's actually not that much pressure on the board right now, just 7 points of damage, so...
Yeah, so we do see everything slowing down just for a little bit. Fire Blast will be used up to clear out the fire.
Second Annoyatron will be playing, and does he go face? Does he clear the 3/3? No, he's going to depend on his Annoyatrons to protect them. And still, he only puts down 1 additional point of damage onto his board, though, so AnonBeta could feel pretty safe developing that Emperor Thorsen if he wants to. It looks like he just wants to go ahead and Shadow Flame this board anyway,
it looks like
though.
he's going to go for the clear. Mortal Core could be used up to proc out the second shield, or could leave a 1/2 if you really, really wanted to. Although, with how much card quality AnonBeta has, you might not actually want to do that.
Yeah. There's a here's a silence that is just drawn from AnonBeta. He decides to go draw a card instead. He still has he's still able to go Shadow Flame if he wants to, and it looks like he'll go ahead and burn his Ancient Watcher doing that, leaving him with only a 1/2, a lot of damage, not that much power on the board right now, so he can feel pretty safe drawing into things, and he can use his Owl to actually proc that Mirror Entity.
Really, really clutch draw actually coming out from the left tap. So very, very smart. Get that Owl and be able to clear that one out, no problem. And the board is filled up again. JustGolden trying to get in there. Face.
JustGolden going ahead and making a move, especially after just seeing that Shadow Flame. Now he feels like he can go ahead and flood the board and put a lot of pressure out there. He's going to go ahead and use the Silence, giving JustGolden just a useless 2/1. It's not as useless, but it's more easily dealt with than a Sludge Belcher, for example, right? And AnonBeta will play the Sludge Belcher, which is effectively 7 health and kills minions. That's pretty good for AnonBeta. It buys him time, and that's what he wants. He has that Heal Bot to give him some more time. He has that Lord Jiraxxus to rebound into, so a very difficult spot for JustGolden right now. He can go ahead and remove most of the, or he can remove the Sludge Belcher while only losing just 2 of his 2/1s, but it still slows him down enough that it's going to be really tough.
Definitely really tough bad side. It's going to go down, and we're going to see the Mech Warper try to clear this one up. We're going to trade. We're going to hit face. Okay, face is the place. And we're going to see if JustGolden can keep it going.
Because of Mortal Coil, it'll help deal with one of the Snow Chuggers. So, and I think AnonBeta feels very comfortable in this position. He's looking to maybe not necessarily close out the game, but he knows JustGolden is out of steam. He can kill one of the Snow Chuggers with his Owl and a Coil. He can use his 3/1 to kill the Mech Warper, and all he would have is 4 damage. The worst thing that can happen at this point is drawing into a lot of burns. So JustGolden could draw like an Arcane Intellect, but he couldn't even use Fireball Frostbolt necessarily. So I don't know if he wants to heal bot this turn necessarily. He could just use Emperor Thaurissan. He may want to avoid tapping, however, because if he's at 12, he still doesn't just die to a Fireball.
Yeah, the possibility. Emperor Thaurissan is looking like the juicier play. Could go for the anti-heal and tap as well. But it is Thaurissan going to go down.
Alright, so by the power of Ragnaros, he definitely has the power, and there's an Archmage Antonidas, but no spells to work with, so that's not necessarily a great thing. He can just leave it out onto the board, but he can't actually ping the 5/5 down if he wants to play that, so one of the more awkward cards to get, I think.
A really clutch play that happened earlier in the game. The Iron Beak out onto the 2/1 spell power, or it's spell giver. So really, really smart to actually cancel that one out instead of the Snow Chokos. So we'll see how AnonBeta wants to really play it around. JustGolden, he's deciding if he wants to just try to go all in onto this one.
Yeah, the problem is it's really easy to remove Archmage Antonidas when you have a 5/5 on the board, right? So I don't think Lord Jiraxxus necessarily cares about giving up 5 health to remove Archmage. So it looks like he's just going to go with the pink play and get that Mirror Entity going. Oh, he's not going to trade for the board, however. This is a very gutsy play. Deciding to freeze Emperor anyway. And there's a Molten Giant. Yeah. There's no Mirror Entity up right now, so he can just go ahead and play that Molten Giant.
Lord Jiraxxus and Molten Giant.
He can do that. Looks like he'll go with the Heal Bot instead, though. Kind of fearing the burn at this point. And again, no spells for JustGolden, so he needs to draw into like a Frostbolt and pretty much go all in at this point. He's going to get a cheaper Jiraxxus as well, which is going to serve to be a big heal if JustGolden can't find a way to kill him all in one turn. So, and I think JustGolden is really, really going to struggle at this point.
It's the one draw that coming all, and it's looking like it's JustGolden last. Archmage Antonidas with the Unstable Portal, okay.
Unstable Portal, whoa.
You know, Unstable Portal has brought in things like Deathwing.
Oh, man.
You know, there's some things and possibilities, infinite possibilities possibly.
Yeah, Deathwing could be an amazing draw as far as sweeping this board. Unfortunately, AnonBeta has a big game hunter, and he could play Lord Jiraxxus if he wanted to. So even Deathwing wouldn't be a great answer. Looks like he's going to play the Archmage Antonidas and just guarantee the Fireball. Doesn't really care what the Unstable Portal gives him. He can only play something that's 3 mana or less, and that's what he gets. And even then, there's a lot of boards, so it's just really difficult. There's a Silverback Patriarch, which will help maybe defend a little bit, defend his Archmage Antonidas, but there's an 8/8 on the board to slay it, so...
And the Hellfire. And everything else. It's looking pretty good. Lord Jiraxxus could be a possibility, but the trade-in probably with Mortal Coil. Get that extra card draw. We'll see. if Lord Jiraxis will come out to play today.
Is that defender Vargas? Yes, that is an extremely high priority target. He decides to remove that. Not fearing Flame Strike, but you know, mech mages don't run Flame Strike all that often. Although I have seen it sometimes in the past.
Yeah.
So.
It is a possibility, but you know what? There's everything clear. It's 30 health left still. It's so amazing to see where we're going to go with this one. And it's actually still going to trade out. Coming out from Semper Thorson. Playing Super Strafe or just trying to go in for the win.
Right to the face, cheapening his hand once more, and he has 14 plus 8 plus 2 is 20 damage, so he definitely has enough for lethal next turn if he can't remove any parts of this board.
Definitely, as we do see the Goblin
Blast Mage
drawn in. The ending days for AnonBeta, I mean the ending days for JustGolden actually coming into play possibly soon. 10 more damage still in hand, and Goblin Blast Mage on top of the mirror entities is going to be played out.
10 damage right now. AnonBeta's game plan right now is just to survive, just to keep himself out of burn range. He knows that JustGolden is drawing just one card at a time, so he can even play the Sun Fury if he wants to give him something bad. It looks like he wants to give he wants to play this BGH, but he actually would be forced to kill his Molten Giant to do so. So he can't play the BGH unless the Molten dies. So it looks like he'll give him a Sun Fury instead.
Shields up.
Shields are up, boys.
So shields are up.
Yeah. It's not looking still pretty good, but could go in for some trades or still push in more damage. I mean, AnonBeta is playing it very safe right now.
Yeah, AnonBeta, I mean, the only thing that would scare him at this point is maybe a Flame Strike.
Right.
That'd probably be the only thing he's worried about. It, even if he does have Flame Strike. Well, I guess he would be able to push it down to 7, right? So he may want to trade anyway. Oh, he's going to go with Lord Jiraxis.
Went for the draw, gets the 2 heal, is going to go in straight to JustGolden's. Oh.
And going to go ahead and clear this 2-3 just in case Flame Strike is drawn. Interesting that he decided to draw a card instead of using his hero power to generate a 6-6 after playing Jiraxis, which was another option. Spider Tank coming at the wrong time because Goblin Blast Mage's Battle Cry was unable to go off. The Giant will be slain, but the board from AnonBeta is just going to be too imposing every turn, right? He's always going to be able to generate a 6-6 for very cheap. He's got that Sludge Belcher. He doesn't have... Or JustGolden doesn't even have a single card, so he can't even fear double Fireball. And he's already seen a Fireball used, but he still wants to just make sure that he wins the game no matter what by using this, by using the Siphon Soul to give himself as much health as possible.
Siphon Soul coming back into play. Sometimes you don't really see that from Handlock, so interesting card.
Yeah, Siphon Soul is one of those cards that has been cut just because the meta is just a little too fast, I think.
Yeah, something did keep on tinkering, but not today. And we do see the cleanup. AnonBeta is going to be able to take out this one. Hellfire and all. 3-1 into the series. Again, congratulations to our next semifinalists, our finalists actually coming into play. AnonBeta.
Yeah, so AnonBeta representing for Canada,
yeah.
and coming out with a very impressive 3-1 series win. It was a very well played series, withstood the mech assault, I suppose, and it was just it's a very well played series. Congratulations to him. He will be facing off against Frankie in the finals.
Frankie in the finals again. That will be on Wednesday. Frankie versus AnonBeta for that one. Tomorrow we're actually going to have the consolation match, the 3rd place match between Killing All Day and JustGolden. So we're going to get into the stage I believe.
Yeah, so probably we'll have the winners interview with
AnonBeta.
AnonBeta,
yeah.
See how he's feeling and what his thoughts were on that series, and go ahead and move it over that way.
Top deck Shaman. I think that would be one thing you might think about, but there's other things as well. I think we're just be ready for the interview, so we'll have to see how it goes.
Absolutely.
Are we okay? All right, and we're back. I am standing here with Aaron AnonBeta, and he is our 2nd finalist. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good right now.
Awesome. So on Wednesday, you are going to be playing Frankie in the grand finals. Do you have any training or preparation that you have planned to face him?
His priest tech is pretty unique, so I'll have to look out for that.
Awesome. Gotta watch out for them. They're a little crazy. All right. So, and with that, we are going to wrap up our first day of the High School Star League Grand Finals. All right. I love you guys so much. All right. Starting bright and early tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., we will begin with our StarCraft 2 semifinals.